Welcome back in, everybody. Welcome back into Seahawks Weekly. Oh, boy, we got a beautiful crowd here. If you're still driving, you got about 30 seconds to get here, because joining us right now on stage, starting right tackle for your Seattle Seahawks, Garry Gilliam. GG, Garry Gilliam, what you know good, my man? How you doing, bro? Oh, man. Man, they love you, man. They love you, man. How you doing, brother?
Not bad at all. How about yourself?
You're good. I only got one question tonight, and then I'm going to let those guys ask on it. I just got to know, man, how in the world does Tom Cable have a guy that played tight end in college at Penn State and right tackle, that's you, a basketball player who's only played 1 year of football since 8th grade. He's got a center who's played 3 different positions on the O-line, and he still makes it work. How does that happen, Garry? How does it happen?
You know, just getting us all on the same page, making sure we all have the same goal, and just, going out there communicating, gelling together, and just going out there and playing. Just go out there, play hard, play fast, play together.
My only criticism ever of Garry has been is that he looks too good to be an offensive lineman.
Yeah. He is
You're
a
supposed
good
to be
looking.
big, fat, and ugly, Garry.
There's very few good-looking offensive
To
linemen.
defensive players, it's got to be a big, fat, ugly guy. Don't tell Justin Britt I said that, by the way.
No, because we get called good-looking all the time when we play defense. We never heard it about offense. But so you're unique.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Garry, tell us about, now I see here that you played 4 sports. Let's go back to high school. You were a 4-sport athlete. And I was sitting there with NASA, our producer, executive producer, works for the Seahawks and works with us on the pre and post game show. We're going, okay, I know it's got to be football, basketball, no question about that. But I just don't see you as I thought track, but a baseball player too? Is that what it was?
Yep, football, basketball, baseball, and track.
How did you find the time to do both baseball and track?
All right, well, I did baseball my freshman and sophomore year, and then went to track my junior and senior year.
You went to track, okay. And what about your baseball career? What happened there?
I was a pitcher. I was actually getting recruited by some major league teams. I could throw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball as a sophomore. But it got boring. It wasn't enough action for me, so I decided to go to track.
You wanted to crush people instead. Exactly. So you became a football player. Okay, I got it.
We're going to need a tackle eligible where you go backwards, they throw a backwards lateral, and then you're going to have to throw a touchdown. Do we have that in the playbook?
I could probably do that.
Oh, I'm sure you could.
I could probably do that.
Well, we saw you catch a touchdown. Caught the touchdown. We know you're a tight end and everything. So, yeah, maybe you can whip the ball downfield.
Hey, if we got to do it, I'll do it.
Speaking of touchdowns, let's talk about that moment. If you all guys don't remember, Garry Gilliam caught that huge touchdown in the NFC Championship against the Green Bay Packers at CenturyLink Field. Man, take us back to that. Take us back to that play. What was going through your mind pre-snap? You knew the ball was coming to you. What was going through your mind?
Well, I actually didn't know the ball was going to come to me. The way the play worked, it could have went to the other side. And then John, when he pulled, he had a chance to either run it or throw it, depending on how the defense played it. So there are a couple of options there. But once I saw the ball in the air, the only thing that was going through my mind was just catch it. That's it. That's the ball.
Is that one of your favorite plays of your NFL career?
I mean, it's got to be. That helped send us to the Super Bowl.
It did. That it did.
Yeah, and that sort of was that was the beginning of the comeback, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you guys hadn't done a whole lot. I mean, at that point, you're like, okay, we have to have like a tackle-eligible play, a fake field goal to score a point. You didn't think, man, at that point that was going to be a rally.
No, I was actually sitting there like, that touchdown is not going to feel as good if we don't win. So we won, and I was like, yes, all right, that's awesome.
well, speaking of wins, it felt pretty good last week. I mean, that was for fans and us who do the game, that was as exciting of a regular season game as we can remember. Talk about that for you guys. I mean, was that as good or feel good? Because winning on the road is fun, and there's nothing better than winning. Was that as good a regular season game as a team unit that you can remember?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great team. We're a great team, so for us to be able to match up like that and then just play, good football for the entire game, it was kind of like a mid-season Super Bowl, you could say. But I enjoyed it. I think both teams enjoyed it, and it came down to the wire just like, the Super Bowl did. So fortunately, it came out in our favor this time.
Yeah, we like the results better this time.
Yeah, it seems like they passed the ball too. But we're joined here by Garry Gilliam here on Seahawks Weekly. Really appreciate him taking the time. You know what? As we talk about the offensive line, and I need you to answer this. Oftentimes, the offensive line comes up in conversations both through the media and through the fans, both positive and sometimes negative. How do you and Justin Brent, both the elder statesmen in that room, how do you guys communicate with the young guys in that room to let them know that it's going to be okay no matter what's said outside of that room?
You know, the biggest thing is just don't let people's opinions, and that's what they are, you know, don't let them get to them. You know, if there's an issue with where they're playing or something that's going on, then let the coaches tell them that and let them fix what's going on. You know, once you get caught up in everything else and you kind of lost your mind, you're not focused on being a professional athlete. And our job is to go out and perform no matter how we feel, no matter what people say. And, you know, it's kind of, that's it. You know, it's as simple as that.
You work next to a guy, Jermaine Ifedi. And one of the things I love about him is that every once in a while he does lose his mind a little bit. He's got a little bit of an anger issue, right? And you got to love that. So have you counseled him on, because look, I know this, there are players on the other side of the ball that always are trying to goad you and, you know, push your buttons and things like that. Have you counseled him on that at all?
Yeah, and, you know, I kind of got some practice at it last year with J.R. Sweezy, who was another one of those, like, you know, hotheads, but he was a little bit more direct with his actions.
Yeah.
But with Jermaine, you know, he'll get all angry, and I'm just like, look, you can be angry and you can be aggressive. Just do it, you know, in between the whistles. Like, don't do it after. Don't get a penalty to make it an issue. You know, just channel it and try to funnel it all in a productive manner, and that's while we're playing.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was at the VMAC and Jimmy Graham, I was talking to him, and Jimmy Graham actually talked about Ifedi during the Patriots game, and he was like, man, would you get back to the huddle? Is Jermaine Ifedi just constantly going nonstop? He's like, he had to tell him a bunch of times, get back to the huddle and quit messing around with them, man.
No, you know, some players, that's just their game. You know,
Right.
Some people like to talk, or, you know, that's just what it is, help them stay in themselves and helps them perform. So, you know, if that's what he's got to do, as long as it's not getting us penalties or, you know, hindering the game in any way, then I don't have an issue with it. But once it goes past a certain time, all right, let's go. We got to get the next play, and we got to roll.
Yeah.
You know, they always say it's never as good or as bad as it looks. And in the last couple of weeks, it looks good. I mean, it looks close. You got Thomas Rawls coming back. You know, maybe bring his style. How does that help you guys? You know, what he did last year, can you guys duplicate some of that?
Right, you know, Thomas understands our system and the way our run scheme works. You know, he knows how to press the spot and hit his cuts and where to go and how to set up certain blocks. So I'm excited to be able to block for him, you know, this upcoming game. And, you know, him healthy, he just brings that physical mentality to the game. You know, he's going to finish blocks if there's someone finish runs. If there's someone that's in the hole, he doesn't care. He's going to blow through him. And that just kind of gets us revved up. And, you know, he keeps churning, so we come and hit him. And you've seen plenty of runs with Marshawn, just chugging along. So I'm excited to have some more of that.
Yeah, I think pretty much. You all excited to have Thomas Rawls back too? Yeah, I think so. You know, and with you guys having that success, I would think you guys, your confidence as O-line right now is 2 games in a row over 400 yards. It's got to be feeling pretty high right now.
Yeah, and like you said, it's never as good, it's never as bad as it seems. And, you know, I've always been taught to ignore the noise and just kind of keep a calm mind about yourself. You know, just go out there and do your job one play at a time. Handle your assignment, and then, you know, if we all do that and we're on the same page, you know, play after play after play, then we're going to get those results.
Now, Troymaine Pope back in town. We talked to him today. What an inspiring story he is, and it seemed like, I don't know how much of a chance you got to play with him in the preseason, because he was usually coming in on, you know, with the third stringers, but he's a great kid too, and it seems like there's certain backs, and can you see this on film, behind your blocking scheme that just have the timing and the sense of that a little bit better than others?
Yeah, no doubt. You know, a lot of people just think the run game is just, okay, the offensive line hits and the running backs, you know, find their way through. But there is like a dance, like it's a chemistry to it. And I would say that Pope is very similar to the type of backs that we like. You know, he hits the hole, he gets to a spot and hits one cut and goes exactly where he needs to go. And in the preseason, didn't get to block for him much, but did get to watch him a lot, which was very exciting from the sideline. And, you know, always thought to myself, you know, if he doesn't make the team, I could definitely see him whip somebody or definitely back here at some point. So, yeah, here he is.
Good deal.
Joined here by Garry Gilliam, starting right tackle for your Seattle Seahawks. I'm on the show just to ask random questions. The first time you heard the name Troy Maine, what went through your mind, Garry Gilliam? Okay, I'll bring you on. Moving on to the next question.
Next.
Moving on to the next.
Okay. Do you have one, or can I ask one?
Go ahead.
No, I'll stay on football, then we can go some of those questions.
I was going to answer the Troy Maine question.
Who's the first?
well,
What did you think the first time?
I love the name Troy. What can I put on the end of it to make it sound really cool?
You want to say,
Oh,
what's
man.
up, man?
No, I was thinking
exactly what he was saying.
I was thinking of my favorite state is Maine.
Oh, okay.
That could have been it.
Why is that your
possibly.
favorite state?
I'll be honest, my question's better than this.
Yes,
no,
please
see-
go.
See, that's a former coach, that's a former player. They ask the professional questions. I just ask questions like, what did you think about Troy Maine? I'll ask you off the air what you thought, but go continue.
No, look, I like the personal side, but I do want to talk about Philadelphia because, they're good defense. Statistically, they have one that says rushing yards per average. It's not great, but they had 2 bad games, the Redskins and Dallas. But other than that, they're pretty good. What do they bring? Talking about maybe a player or two that you guys are not concerned about, but we should know about.
No, there's a defense in general. They play really hard. They shoot off the ball as a D-line. They fill the gaps as linebackers, and they do a good job of covering, on the back end there. So it's going to be a good challenge for us as long as, we stick to our plan, stick to our scheme, try and limit our mistakes and penalties and stuff. I don't think we'll have an issue. But that's always a task each week. So I'm excited for it to be a good challenge for us.
Gary, we talked to John Ryan earlier in the week, and I noticed this when I played, that the further east you go, the more heckling, and actually the more clever heckling that you get when you go to like New England or New York or a place like that. And John was telling us he's the punter on the team, in case you didn't know. And he's actually pretty buffed. He looks pretty good, right? He's in good shape. Some guy was calling him fat. They were saying he looked fat from the sidelines, and he was kind of going back and forth with him, which I liked. I used to like to do. Do you ever listen to people? Because sometimes you hear some funny stuff coming out of the crowd, but do you ever listen to that stuff or engage with those people?
I never engage with it, but I definitely do hear stuff. Most recently about my hair. It's like stuff about my hair because it kind of looks crazy when it comes out of my helmet. But that's about it.
They didn't like that?
It's never anything bad. Just like, what are you doing with your hair? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't ever respond to them. I just hear them. Like,
We had a guy, I thought the cleverest thing I ever heard was there was a guy who was a backup center on our team. His name was Joe Toffelmeyer, and he had one of those kind of names that had to arch over the back. And so the people in New York were like, give me a T, give me an O. And it took them like 10 minutes to get through it. I was like, you know what? That's pretty funny.
That's pretty good.
Joined here by Garry Gilliam here on Seahawks Weekly. Tell us, what's it like to play for Tom Cable? What is it like to play for that coach?
he's very particular in the way he likes us to do things. So it just, I don't know, it makes you pay attention to detail, which isn't a bad thing at all. It just makes you very aware of yourself. I think that's probably the main thing I would say. He makes you be right.
Right. And it just seems like every year, 2014, 15, and now we're in the 16, every year, you guys as a team, as an offense, second half of the season, you guys really turn it on. You turn the. Why is it that you guys are so good, it seems to be, the second half of the season?
Honestly, I think it's more that our coaches are continuously on us about fundamentals of football. Just like the little things that a lot of teams, if you just watch, league-wide, they just, they start to dwindle at a certain point. Whether it's the defense, chasing after the ball or the offense chasing after the ball for that matter, or just, being high and tight with the ball when you carry it, looking the ball in. Just like those little things, they reinforce them every day. Like we have a whole video section every morning before we go to our meetings about fundamentals of football. So I think that in and of itself just keeps us ahead of other teams once it gets late in the season.
When you think about that consistency, because going into last week, Pete was saying it's just another game, but there's a lot of emotion going to the Super Bowl and him being a former coach there. Could you tell it all before the game or maybe after that one meant more to Pete?
Not necessarily, no. He does a good job of making sure every game is a big game for us so that no game is too big. And personally, I didn't. Maybe other people did, but I didn't really, I wasn't really looking at it that way or saw anything like that after the game. Everyone was excited. It's great to win, especially in New England against a great team like that. So, I think anybody would be extremely happy with that win.
Yeah, that's a good play and ride home.
Yeah, it's cool winning on the road, right? And I know you guys are probably going to sleep pretty soon after that, but, a home win, everybody goes their own way. Basically, everybody's going to their family or whatever, but road wins are kind of cool because you're sort of forced to spend time together, but it's always a good time and kind of a bonding experience.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Like you said, home games, we do our thing in the locker room and then we dip out, but a 5-hour flight back, you can almost throw a whole party there.
I think during the week, a lot of people were talking about the Patriots and the Super Bowl and just what that means, and I think that's really big for fans, but you guys are so focused and just so drilled down on the details. And I always tell my co-hosts, I guarantee you 80% of these guys don't know who they play 2 weeks from now. And would you agree with that? I mean, that's pretty much reality for you guys.
Yeah, you could even go as far to even say the upcoming game. I'd more look at schemes and players. If you ask, who you playing, I would have to think like, oh yeah, we're playing this team.
Yeah.
So definitely 2 weeks in advance, I have no idea who we're playing at all, actually. So yeah.
Well, you've been here. You've been here for a little while now, and I feel like sometimes when you get on these shows and they interview you, you always talking about football, and I get bored with football sometimes. Tell us about Garry Gilliam. Do you have family? Is your family here? You have family back where? Tell us about you. Where's your family, brothers, sisters, all that kind of stuff?
Well, it all started one night.
That's good.
What Luther Vandross or Teddy Pendergrass? What do you think they was playing?
That was kind of a Luther voice, though. He went deep on that one.
He did.
No, actually, my main family's my mom and my brother are actually both out here right now visiting. My brother will be here for a couple months. My mom just out here for her birthday, my brother's birthday, and my birthday that's coming up in about a week or so. So they're all out here, but I'm from Pennsylvania. My family's from all over. I have a huge family. My dad's side has 10 kids. My mom's side has 9 kids, so I have a ton of cousins, tons of aunts and uncles. There's no one actually out here. I'm just out here. Like I said, my mom and my brother are visiting. I'm out here with my girlfriend. She lives with me.
You're an NFL player now, so I know you got a lot of cousins. You got a lot of cousins. When you in the NFL, you might have like 20, and you make it to the NFL, you got like 100 cousins, don't you?
Oh, you'd be surprised just the people that have the same last name as you that hit you up like, oh, so we're related through this, that, and the third. I'm like, well, where you been in the last 25 years? I don't know who you are. But no, you're right.
Is your brother older or younger than you?
He's older. He actually just turned 30.
Really? So who's big bro? Are you big bro or is he big bro?
I'm definitely big bro. He has cerebral palsy. He's a trooper.
Okay.
He's actually going through a bunch of open heart surgery. He's got a couple heart problems too. And he's definitely a guy that I look up to. He's never been able to play sports. He's always told me, if I ever got a chance to play sports, I would have loved to either play football or wrestle. So every time I go out there, I think like, man, like I have the opportunity, the blessing to be able to go out here, walk, run, hit people, and he can't even do that. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of times I'm playing in honor of him.
Oh, that's cool. And he's staying here for a couple months with you?
Correct.
No, that's really cool.
That's super awesome right there. Never knew that
that's
about him.
instant perspective, right, Gary? Yeah.
I bring you to your Penn State days. Look, they went through, obviously, some historic times, tough times, and looks like they've turned it around. Does that make you feel good? You were in the throes of the tough time, and now you get to experience that. Maybe share some of that.
Yeah, so, once all that stuff came out and the sanctions came out, I was actually, I think, one of the first players that publicly announced that no matter what happens with the sanctions or what they give us, that I'm staying at Penn State. I'm not going anywhere. We had the chance to leave and be essentially free agents to go to any college we wanted to, teams recruiting us, coming on campus recruiting us. But I was one of the first to say, like, look, like, you make a commitment to a school, you need to stay there. Make a commitment to something, you need to stick it through no matter what it is. And I did my best to try and keep a lot of the guys there, as well as, all the other older guys that were at the school at the time. And I thought we, did our job. We kept the school there, kept the community in it, kept the state in it, kept all the Penn State fans in it. And, it's been rough a little bit, but now, they're in the top 10 and they're doing their thing. So it just goes to show, once you get through those tough and rough times, that commitment will definitely pay off.
How old were you when that happened? When you said, I'm staying here and I'm making this declaration?
That was my junior year.
Yeah.
Well, technically my redshirt sophomore year, so I could go somewhere and play for 3 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So did you had people coming to you telling you, hey, come to this school, that school? Who were some of those some of those teams?
I would say that the biggest one was probably Michigan, actually. They went as far as to even find my mom and brother's numbers and call them. But some other Big Ten schools just on campus, like knowing where we live, just I think Illinois was one. So next time we played them, we made sure we gave them a nice little beating. But I mean, there's tons of schools. Like I can't even remember all of them. Some schools that I have never even heard of, like Florida Atlantic something or another. I don't know.
That's
random
stuff.
It's on the beach. It's pretty
yeah,
cool.
I know that was
Really.
That was their. They like messaged me like, hey, like if you want to go to a place that's like beautiful, like that, like all this stuff. I think it's a beautiful campus.
Right
but,
on
like,
the beach.
Well, before we let you out of here, Gary, tell us something that nobody knows about Garry Gilliam. I mean, we just learned something about your brother. That was awesome. That does give us clear perspective on things. But tell us something else, something that nobody knows about Garry Gilliam, starting right tackle for the Seattle Seahawks. All most people care about is, would you block the man in front of you? But we want to know a little bit more. Is there something else that maybe none of us knows about you? Now, I can do some investigations. I can go ahead and ask right here.
Play
I can ask
piano,
some of your teammates. Something that nobody knows about you. Now, I did find out you went to the private school your whole little life. I did know that one.
All right, well, let me explain the private school I went to. I can explain that.
Okay.
So the school itself, it's called Milton Hershey. It's actually a private boarding school, but it's for low-income families. So your family can't make above a certain amount of money for you to qualify to go there. Fully cost-free. They pay for your food, housing, clothes. You know, you live on campus, and essentially these like mini mansions of like 10 to 12 kids. With a set of house parents that kind of watch over the house. But anyway, so the gist of the school, you know, if you graduate, they actually pay for college. So a huge opportunity, you know, for kids that are coming from these low-income families in these areas, you know, where the kids can come from.
And you mentioned that when you were introduced, I think on Sunday night. Didn't you say Milton Hershey?
Yes. A lot of people have been like, what is he saying? I'm saying Garry Gilliam, Milton
that's
Hershey,
good,
which
yeah.
is a lot, you know, the main reason I play football is to inspire younger generations, and we've been given a huge platform here to inspire people to go far beyond what they think they can do. You know, no one would have ever thought that little old Garry Gilliam out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, going to Milton Hershey would one day be in the NFL playing for the Seattle Seahawks. So just that in and of itself, you know, tons of guys come from Penn State, and you hear such and such Penn State, such and such Penn State. But for me to be able to say Milton Hershey for those kids, coming out of the backgrounds that they come from, like if he can do it, you know, I can do anything I want. So that's
good for you, man.
So there you go. That's why I say Milton Hershey.
How did Penn State find you? I mean, is it good? Was it good football in high school?
A very basic football. All we did was run the ball, but I was recruited as a tight end. But it's only an hour and a half from Penn State. You know, sending some film. I mean, I was a big body, you know, in high school, so they gave me a shot, and you know, I went there and did my best to make it to the NFL.
Well, man, hey, that's why I love asking the questions like that. I never knew that about my man, and I did hear you say that Sunday night. I thought you didn't know what you was talking about. So, hey, we really appreciate Garry Gilliam for joining us for Seahawk Weekly. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. All the best of luck to you this game and the rest of the season. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
There's
Awesome.
Garry Gilliam right there. Coming up next, former Seattle Seahawks fullback Max Strong joins us. We do that next, right here on Seahawks Weekly.